Hi guys, this is my 7th video on the Kasparov's Greatest Game series, and this one Kasparov is now playing against Vladimir Kramnik from Frankfurt 1999, and e4, c5. So Kramnik decides to play c5. He often plays e5 here, and then some knight f3. He quite likes the Petrov, which is a solid opening for black, or against your knight c6. He'll often play bishop b5, and then you'll play the Berlin knight f6, which is also really a solid way for black to play. So yeah, I guess Kramnik's a really annoying person to come up against. He's just very solid and boring. But here he decides to play Sicilian, which is very interesting. So knight f3, knight c6, knight c3 from Kasparov. He's trying to trick Kramnik by move order trick d6, d4. C takes d4, knight takes d4, knight f6, bishop g5, e6, queen d2, a6, castles, h6. Bishop has to go back, goes back to e3, and now Kramnik decides to play bishop to d7. Which is I guess it's an interesting idea. Personally, I would have gone queen c7 here, and then save f3, just b5, and then put my bishop out this way on b7. Looks a little more active on b7 than it does on d7. But I don't know. I guess Kramnik's obviously a better player than I am, so you know, bishop d7 must be a good move as well. So bishop d7, f3, and now b5. Knight takes, bishop takes. And so now it doesn't really matter, the bishops come to this diagonal anyway. Knight to e2, so looking to come into d4 again. And after knight e2, Kramnik responded with queen c7, king b1, bishop back to b7, h4, rook c8. So pretty natural moves so far. Rook h3. That's quite an interesting idea from Kasparov. Rook h3, because I guess now if black tries to develop his bishop to e7, then just rook g3 could get quite annoying at some point. It's putting pressure on g7, and black can never castle because of bishop takes h6, and then this pin against the king. So it's rook h3 does look like a quite interesting idea. Kramnik played h5. Knight to d4, knight back to d7, bishop to g5, g6, rook to h1. So Kasparov, things are working out with this rook g3 idea, so now he comes back. d5, e takes d5, bishop takes d5, bishop f4, attacking the queen, queen b7, knight b3, bishop g7, and now bishop d6, so Kasparov wants to stop Kramnik from castling here, which could get quite annoying. Queen c6, attacking the bishop, bishop comes all the way back to a3, still keeping this diagonal open for the bishop, stopping black from castling. So I guess, you know, Kramnik has to do something about that, maybe puts bishop back on f8, try to swap off bishops, or even try to get a5, b4 in somehow. But after bishop a3, Kramnik played knight b6, so he wants to start attacking, coming into c4, which is always going to be a dangerous threat. Bishop to d3, knight to c4, bishop takes c4, b takes c4, but knight d4, queen b6, and now queen to g5. This is a really nice move from Kasparov. He just leaves this knight attacked, but now he's threatening checkmate on e7 here. You see the power of this bishop, just tremendous. You know, it just controls so many squares across his diagonal, and this is sort of putting black in a lot of trouble now. So it's queen g5. Bishop f8 was played, so he has to try to swap off that bishop. Bishop took, rook takes. Rook he1, getting his last piece into the game, and also threatening just queen takes d5 with the pin on the king. After rook he1, Kramnik played rook b8, threatening checkmate. b3, rook to d8, protecting his bishop. Knight to e2. It's a very interesting move from Kasparov. C takes b3, a takes b3, rook d7, king to b2, queen to d8, queen to f4, queen to c7, and this is where I want you to pause the video and try find the winning move for white. Queen c7 is a blunder, and yeah, white to move and win. Okay, so the winning move for white is based on the idea of this pin against black's king, and also this queen can potentially lose since this rook is overloaded after rook takes d5. Fantastic move from Kasparov. Okay, so obviously rook takes d5 is no good because the queen takes queen, so just completely winning for white. And if queen takes queen, knight takes queen, and now there's a pin against the king, and so if rook takes, knight takes, black can't recapture, and white's just a whole knight up. So Kramnik was forced to play e takes d5 in the game. After e takes d5, knight d4, check, and Kramnik actually just resigned in view of if rook e7, queen takes c7, just winning the queen. And the only other move that Kramnik could have played here was king to d8. And king d8 doesn't work either because of just knight e6 check. For friends to win the queen, so the pawn's going to have to take, and then just queen takes f8 is going to be checkmate. So Kramnik is just completely lost in every variation from this point on. So he just resigned. So yeah, once again we have another fantastic game from Kasparov. And he beat another Sicilian, so that's 7 out of 7 against the Sicilian. There will be some games where Kasparov doesn't actually play against the Sicilian. I think it's when it gets to game 11, he plays against e5, e4, e5. Okay, I'll see you guys next time.